Okay, so I'll quickly tell you a little bit about our new game, Affordable Space Adventures. So I'm running a game studio, for those that don't know me, in Copenhagen, Knapnok Games. And lately we've been collaborating a lot on the games that we are making, and this year we're collaborating with Niklas, which probably most of you also know, Swedish one-man amazing game designer that's been doing games alone for quite a while. So this is the team right now with Niklas that works on the spaceship game. And how we actually got to work together was mainly because last year we worked on a video game, and actually Niklas kind of had released a video game as well, but actually he was working on the game, which is Knut Underground, you maybe heard of. He worked in our office, so we kind of interacted a lot and talked about games a lot. So since we are kind of like right now pretty much a Wii U developer, somehow we just ended up releasing like a Wii and a Wii U and another now Wii U game. So somehow we just really into the space, but there's a lot of reasons for it. So I'll tell you a little bit about our backgrounds and how we started working together. Then I'll tell you about my mobile Wii U setup, which I travel with. So I think our background is like, we started a company 4.5 years back, and we started thinking about games way before, like as kind of a bunch of people that today founded the company back then. But our big what we really focus on is really looking at the new interfaces and trying to design games for the new upcoming interfaces, not like the traditional controller. It's never been like such a big focus for us. So motion controllers. It's been a huge focus, and the Wii U as like the 2-screen play. So this is like 3 things that we often go for, like when we develop games, which is like we accept the affordances and constraints of the hardware that we want to develop for, and the interfaces. Then we always consider the social context. So we like 99% of the time we make multiplayer games, not only, but we really focus on multiplayer games, and we really want to explore the social context of people playing in the same room. So it's like local multiplayer, and we're often we have this strategy of just jam it, try, test your idea, see if it works, kind of thing. And we've developed several failing projects and several actually kind of semi-successful smaller projects. We started by making this magic fighting game with gestures on the V, and failed miserably. It's really hard to, even if you use neural networks and I don't know what fancy algorithms, you can't get good gesture recognition. It's too poor technology for that. But then you learn some things and you move on, and you make a smaller V project like this paint splash, paint on the paint 4-player kind of painting game or app, whatever you want to call it, for the WiiWare, which actually did pretty well. And it was just a test to see how hard it is to develop games for consoles. And meanwhile, we did Button, which maybe some of you heard of, Brutally Unfair Tactics, Totally Okay Now, which was this crazy multiplayer experience, and was for fun, but it ended up being IGF nominated, and there was something interesting again about the social context that we really want to explore, so that's what happened. Then we went further on to Xbox, Kinect, Slow Mo Showdown, slow motion fighting game where you really the body position or the 3D position of your body is matters in space. There's depth and movement. That was a time where things were changing for 360, and Xbox One was coming out, so Microsoft was not really interested in publishing a Kinect game. So it ended up being something in the drawer that maybe will come out actually now, since we can self-publish, but still not in the focus. We're still somewhat of a semi-failing project since it didn't come out, but hopefully it will. And then last year, together with Red Grim and some of the guys here, like Niklas, Simon, and Ole, we made Spin the Bottle, Bumpy's Party for Wii U, which is a really interesting, kind of crazy, crazy characters. Simon's characters are here. And it was a game that was really embraced as it really uses the Wii U right, because it really uses the Wii U differently than any other game. It uses the gamepad, uses the controllers, and the Wii controllers, and in a very untraditional way, and off the screen play, where you really look at each other and play with each other. But anyway, we had good scores. We had a lot of experience in VU. And then we had Niklas in the office, which is like famous for his atmospheric exploration adventure games and very tight puzzles. And he really like has an eye for detail, and like he's just brilliant at like stuff that we haven't been doing, like this tight puzzle design. So we kind of, when we discussed the VU, because we played a lot of VU games, we were developing a VU game. His game was also going on the VU platform soon after. So we decided to, like discuss what would be the next project. What would you do, like if you? The question was like, what game would you do, like if you do a VU game next? And I think Niklas came up with the idea. Oh, what about a spaceship game where you actually like control on the gamepad? That's like your control panel, and you control all these different engines and systems, and you can like tweak them. It's like very engineering game. And it started as a little joke, but actually turned, okay, this is a little bit about Niklas, but actually turned into like a real idea that we decided to prototype. And the goal was also a bit higher. How can we take Knapnock's like, like competences in console games and, graphics and new like gameplay, gameplay design based on the interface we have, and then how can we have like get him and his puzzle design like in and work together. So it took like 3 months maybe, because he'd never really worked like with a team before. Took 3 months to gain this trust, and really find like the pipeline of how we do things. And now it's been more like almost a year actually that we work together. So it's pretty cool. The game, I will just show a little bit of the game. I will show a video because it's kind of complicated setup to do. So what you do in this game is that you fly around. It's not really that well that you can see, but you fly around. It's kind of stealth puzzle game. So all you do is like you can't shoot, but you have like few actions. Like you have a scanner, you can scan enemies, see what they're sensitive to, and try to adjust your system so you can pass them. So a lot of the action actually happens on the second screen, or not the action, but a lot of the information you get and adjust is on the second screen. And on the big screen you have like the puzzle or the level, like the action. But as I said, there's not much you can do. You're just like trying to glide through them so they don't notice you. I think in this case they can only like I think they can hear sound, so you're really trying to like drop anti-gravity and glide rather than actually using an engine. So you use like an electrical engine that is very low on sound, and you kind of try to get around. But I have the game, so we can play it if you want this weekend, and I have this VU with me. And I want to just quickly before I talk about it, just see here, like, oops. That's how you play the game, basically. So most of the things are touchscreen, and then you kind of move around and scan the enemy with the 2 thumbsticks on VU. And then there's like back buttons where you can use like trigger the scanner and stuff. But this game is also multiplayer. You can play it with multiple controllers and divide like your actions in a way. So one can like move the spaceship, the other one can do the flashlight, and the third one can do the engineering stuff on the screen here. So exciting people about games and talking to press. It always happens outside the office. When we have VU, I'm not even allowed to show this, but as you see, it's completely trashed and it's borrowed by Nintendo. I don't know if they will know I took this one out from the office. But like, what our focus has been like, or my focus the last year was like how to show this game and get people excited about it. And it's very tough. So I developed over the few months in the beginning, developed a setup that actually works, and I can take it like, and it's mobile. So like I have a screen literally that could like play on also lead up environments. Like it has even a stand, and it's very light. Then a mobile speaker that can run on batteries, and because it's a multiplayer game as well, you want to have like audio.
1 minute.
Yes, and actually I'm kind of done. So. And yeah, and then this. So I've been running around from conferences to festivals to whatever, and like running the game, which is pretty like, because Nintendo doesn't necessarily lend you a booth everywhere you go, So I think this is kind of important part, and I suggest that no matter what platform you work for or on, I think it's important to show your game, so find a setup that you can do it anywhere. That's pretty much it, quickly. And thank you.